This is Umar Ahmed for IFL TV, proudly sponsored by Everlast. Delighted to say with me today, I've got Bilal Fawaz, finally makes his professional debut on the MTK card early February 11th. Bilal, obviously, we'll come on to that second and the struggle it's been to get that debut across the line. But, you know, a lot of people will be familiar with your story, but there will be a lot of boxing fans who aren't. So why don't you, I know it's going to be difficult on limited time to sum it up the story of your life, essentially growing up and the hardship you've had to go through. What can you just give us a bit of an insight, please, Bilal?
In the summarization of my whole life has been, I was trafficked when I was a kid. I'm a Nigerian boy. I'm an asylum seeker. I came from Nigeria here as a slave, and then I was kept in a house. I couldn't go out. I couldn't go anywhere. So I was tired of that. I wanted to do something with myself. So I decided to run out. And the man took me to the social services. And ever since I've been with the social services. And when I was 17, I decided to walk into the gym. And I did some tremendous things with my hand. And they saw that this boy had some demons inside of him that he needs to let out, you know.
How much fighting did you do before you entered the gym at 17? I'm talking about, you know, on the street or before that. Did you know you had much talent?
I never knew I had talent. What I knew is I had passion. In anything I do, I always put 110%. And the thing is, whether it's boxing or whether it's acting or whether it's singing or whatever, it doesn't matter what I do. I always do my best, and my best supersedes the majority because I pay attention to details. And when you pay attention to details, you will find out that everything is all about energy. It's all about vibration and understanding where to accelerate and where to not accelerate, where to go crazy and where to relax. You know, you don't go in a ring and punch in all the punches like powerful. You're going to get tired. We're a machine. We're not a machine. So you have to relax with the punches, know when to play with the jab. And when you're ready, let the big bang go. Those are rhythms. It's rhythms and patterns and how to, you know, approach any situation. Just understand it. So I've had when I was a kid, I had they were building a house and I saw cement on the floor and I saw buckets of empty paints and I saw stones and granites and sands and cement. So I decided to take cement, mix it with some stones and mix it with some sands, took 2 empty buckets of paints, pour the cement into the bucket, measure it to the same measurement. They were equal. And I then leave it to dry for a little bit. I then flip the buckets on the side. I stick the rod in here, I stick the rod there, and then I started pumping weights. I never even knew what I was looking for. And then after a little while, I don't know what happened to me. I just took a bag, a woven bag, a bag that they weave with, you know, like with weave cloth, and I pour sand in it, and I tied it over the tree, and I just started punching it. And my aunt came to me and said, "Bilal, shouldn't be doing that. You're gonna break the tree. Put it down." It's not like a tree. It was like a cemented wall, but you know, I hanged it, and since then I stopped and I came to London. And then when I was 17, I went to Brunel University. I saw them. A man was carrying a bag of boxing gloves, and then I ran after him and I asked him, "Where do I start? Where do I sign up?" He said, "Come Monday, Wednesday, Friday," and that was it.
Here we are. So, okay, just to let the viewers know, what age did you come to this country, Bilal? Just remind us.
14.
14, okay. Let's go back before then. Then obviously you said that, you know, you were trafficked. Is it fair to say that we can describe your childhood as a modern day slave? Is that what you were, Bilal?
Modern day slavery. I was meant to stay in a house for a bit. And then after a significant amount of time, or even a tiny period, I was meant to be taken somewhere else. And I just didn't like what was happening or how I was treated. I had a lot of ambitions internally, and that drove me to leave the house and go somewhere else.
Of course. So how do you think, you know, that childhood, the start of your childhood, affects you now? Does it affect you now?
Any situations or events that has happened in anyone's life, including you, and whoever's going to watch this. Whatever event affects everyone. Any events that anyone goes through, it affects them whether they know it or not. But it's what they take from it that matters. It's what they choose to interpret that event as that matters. Hypothetically speaking, in another life, another universe, my situation would have condemned me, would have made me an alcoholic or make me giving up on life or into drugs or go on the streets and start doing this. And in another life, that situation would motivate me, would make me strong, become a national champion, become number one, signed to Everlast, signed to Sports Direct. And that life that I'm talking about is this life, because I am that now.
Mm. Of course,
No matter what anyone goes through, you can interpret it as good or bad. There's always good in any situation, and there's always a bad in any situation. You just have to switch your perception to the way you look at it.
Okay, some very strong and powerful and wise words from yourself there. So you decided to come to this country. Obviously, as I said, you'll be making your professional debut very soon, but you'd have been training away, etc. the last few years. You said you entered the gym at 17, so boxing has kind of taken over your life since you've been in the UK. But what else was going on in your life during that time in the UK, Bilal?
Battling with the Home Office. I was battling with the Home Office. I needed to stay in the country. I needed to work. I needed to travel. I needed to have a passport. I needed to belong to a country. All of that never happened. I've been fighting with the Home Office for 19 years. And that 19 years ended last year. And hence why I'm having my first professional fight at the age of 33. So I've had a bit of ups and downs. I've gotten to the point where I became an alcoholic. I couldn't even think straight. I was sleeping on the street. I had to sleep in the gym. I was cleaning the toilets so I can have food. I got to the position where I got stabbed about 25 times. I almost died. I got shot with a gun. I almost died. Everything happened here in this country. So it's my conscious choice that I chose to step out of that life. Nobody stays in a situation forcefully. You can walk away from any situation. You just have to summon up the courage, you know? And of course, it's hard to leave something that somebody is comfortable in or something that you have grown fond of. It's really hard to walk away. But it's easy to stay there and get driven down, get swallowed, get suffocated. So yeah, I've had my fair share of obstacles, calamities, barriers, and demons, and hardships. Hence the reason why I'm still formidable. I'm still relevant.
Of course, you know, at the start we talked about the childhood you had in Nigeria, and you know, unimaginable what you had to go through. Then, following that, you nearly had 2 decades of a legal battle going on to stay in this country. And
Yes.
you mentioned about perception. You know, there's positives in everything, and obviously, you've got to this point now where you can stay in this country. You're a citizen here. You're making your professional debut next month. But I mean, nearly 2 decades worth of your life battling a legal process. Was there any moment where you thought, I'm just going to give up here?
Yeah, there has been time where I want to give up, but for a year tops, something gives me a jolt, something tickles me and say, "But I'll get back up." You know, this is it. You've had your fair share of complaining. You've had your, pointing fingers and pitying yourself. But what is pitying going to come out of this? Pitying and being sorry for someone or being sorry for yourself does not change the outcome of any situation. Definitely not. It's what you do about the situation that matters. So I've gotten to the point where I wanted to give up. I've gotten to the point where I've said I'm too old. I don't have the essence in me, the juice, the substance, the source, the fire, the hunger, the desire, the killer instinct. But it's there in anyone, no matter how old you are. That killer instinct is there. it's just laying dormant. It's just sleeping. You just need to tap it up and wake it up. The more you water something, the more it grows. The more you neglect something, the more it dies. Same concept with anything in life. You water a plant, the plant grows. You leave the plant alone, it dies. So yeah, I've gotten to the point where I almost quit. But what has quitting done or given anyone? More pain.
I guess this is an obvious question, but how vital was the sport of boxing for your survival, essentially, Bilal?
How violent or vile?
No, vital. How vital? How
How
important?
vital was the sport? Um, Boxing is just a way out. I can guarantee you, boxing is just a way out for me to get into the center. The moment I get into the center, there's going to be other things that will take my interest. I might open a company. I might decide to buy a couple of houses, rent them out, and start using those money to fend for myself. I might decide to, buy a stake in a company. Who knows? Boxing is just a way in. You have to find a way in. Nobody says boxing is the only thing a person can do. Whoever said you're allowed to do one thing in this life is lying to you. Whoever said that, nobody said you're only allowed to be a lawyer. Nobody said you're only allowed to be a boxer. You can be whatever you want to be. You just have to believe it. It's just uncomprehendable. Most people can't do it because they think it's far-fetched. They think it's unachievable. But if you believe you can do something and you set a target, you have a goal, in regardless of what you're doing right now, you will still achieve that thing. That means you're doing double thing, you're doing three things, you're doing this. So whoever says, oh, I'm a boxer, what else do you do? Oh, that's what I do. That person has given up on enjoying the other things in life. There's other things that you can do. You can decide to, you know, be open a chain of store, maybe a fast food restaurant, and then still be a boxer. You can decide to open a barber shop and then franchise that, open more, and still be a boxer. And I know there's some people that are doing it. So boxing is very, very, it's imperative that I succeed. It's very vital. It's very important. It is the path that I have chosen to open the doors for me.
Can you just describe the moment that you found out that the legal process was over and you'll be able to stay in this country? I mean, years and years of hardship and stress about that. What was it like when you found out that it was all gone and settled with?
Do you know when you are a kid, when we were once kid, and you ask your parents to get you something like a bicycle or PlayStation, and they ignore you, and then on Christmas Day you see that present under the tree and then you open it. Now that feeling is what it took me back to my childhood. I felt something that I thought was unfeelable anymore. I felt like a child. I felt relieved. I was on the bus. I was going to, and this was COVID times. I was on the bus. I was going to Hyde Park to dance salsa. I'm amazing at dancing salsa, trust me. Yeah. So I was going to dance salsa, and then my lawyer called me and said, Bilal, what are you doing? And I said, I'm just on the bus. They said, we need to talk to you. And I said, listen, if you're calling me in regards to my case that something has happened, I don't want to hear it. I have enough bad news already. Keep it. Just tell me what decisions I need to take and I will just choose one and you guys go. Don't explain anything. They said, okay, well, we all need to talk to you. We needed something. My normal intuition will tell me something is happening. But I've had so much bad shit in my life with the Home Office that even when the good time comes, I couldn't identify it. So then they called me, all of them, they sat down and they were just talking to me. I still didn't, realize what they were trying to say. And my lawyer said, hey, Bilal, listen, you've got to stay. You've got work permit. You can work. You can stay in the country. You've got a visa. I jumped out of the bus and I kissed the floor and I started crying.
Wow.
I haven't cried in a long time. I was crying. And it wasn't tears of pain, it was tears of joy. You know, the two types of tears. Tears that I can't believe this is happening, and this tears that, oh my God, this happened, what am I gonna do? It was the opposite, tears of joy. And I couldn't, I don't know, I can still feel it now. But after 30 months, I have to apply for a new one. They have to extend it every 30 months. But I can't travel. I've never traveled my whole life. I'm 33 and I've never even seen a beach in my life. I've never traveled anywhere on holiday.
Okay.
I don't belong to any country. I'm a stateless individual. Nigeria don't want me. England don't want me. And I've represented England over about 80 to 90 fights. I've represented England, but they wouldn't say I'm one of them. They say we don't want you. But I fought for England. I fought for England so many times. I've even fought for them against the country that they intend to deport me to.
So the Olympics was never on the cards.
The Olympics was there. I was chosen for Olympics. They said, Bilal, yes, we they even wrote the GB wrote a letter to the British Boxing Board of Control. I mean to the Home Office, that we see this boy, he has tremendous talent. We would like to give him a spot in the Olympic. That was when I became #1, when I won the ABA, the national championships. And the Home Office replied and said, he's not special. He's just like any other kid. He's just like any other person. He has to wait his turn. And that his turn will come when we decide his case, that we can't jump him off the line. And no, we're not going to give him a travel document. My whole dreams shattered. Frank Warren gave me a letter to take to the Home Office. In that letter, it denotes, it explains, it shows that Frank Warren will offer me £230,000. All I had to do was put my name on a piece of paper. In the space of 2 years, I will earn that money. And I will get a signing bonus, amazing, probably about 100 grand. I showed the Home Office that. I was pleading. I was asking for a little bit of discretion, leniency, compassion, humility. Politely, I asked, and they turned it down as well. I lost my chance. I lost 20 years of my life.
So having been through that, how do you feel about this country and the UK?
You know, when I was a kid, my mom used to beat me up mercilessly. She used to beat me to the point where I was bleeding. But I still loved her. She's my mom, you know? Like, she pushed me out, you know? She gave me life. Although she wasn't the nicest of people, but she's my mother, you know? Nobody's perfect, you know? And I don't know how I feel, but I know that sometimes in life, you can't condemn someone just because they hurt your feelings or because they treat you bad. You know, you have to be, if you want someone to forgive you and give you a chance and be compassionate, you have to be able to express that similar feeling. You know, I was in the ITV news yesterday. Did you see it?
No, I have not seen that yet. No.
Okay. I'll send you the link.
Yeah.
I was on ITV news yesterday, and they said, how are you feeling? I said, I'm so happy and delighted to be fighting for Great Britain in the professional ranks. And they were looking at me like, but Great Britain didn't treat you nice. They took your life. They still didn't give you a travel document. They didn't give you a passport. They didn't even give you indefinite leave to remain, and you still want to represent them. And I said, if I turn them down now, who else am I going to run to? You know, if you have nowhere else to go and you only have one place to go, and that place you decide you don't want to go back there and you burn all your bridges, you're left alone. Sometimes in life, you have to assess the situation and dictate the terms and understand when to take drastic steps and when to decide to lay dormant. In the Bible, they said, once they slap you on one cheek, you turn the other cheek. Do you know that part?
Yeah, I've heard that saying. Yeah, yeah.
Exactly. This is exactly what's happening. But I know that is just one person behind a desk that can just change my life around. And I hope one day the universe touches their heart and let them see that, give this boy a chance. I'm not trying to rob a bank. I'm not trying to rape anyone. I'm not trying to claim benefits or whatever. I just want to make an honest living. I just want to stand on my own 2 feet. I want to have a house. I'm begging for food sometimes. I'm living in a place where I'm sharing with some people, and it's nasty where I'm living. But because of my current circumstances, I can't complain. Because I know deep down, complaining doesn't change it. But I know deep down, my situation wouldn't last forever. You know, if you can see the future and you believe the future is going to be bright, no matter what you're going through, it wouldn't phase you. So I think no matter what the Home Office does to me, or Great Britain does to me, or England does to me, I will still praise them, because at the end of the day, I'm trying to be their child. I'm trying to be their son. I'm trying to make this my home,
Well, listen,
So, yeah.
Bilal, I appreciate you opening up on, I said at the start, I said, let's try and summarize it. And you've done a great job of that. I'm sure there's plenty of more that we haven't discussed. But yeah, thank you for that. Let's just look forward now before we close off. So,
Yeah.
as I said,
Yes.
Feb 11th, professional debut. What do you hope to achieve in this sport, Bilal?
A world champion, British champion first. After that, then I achieved the bigger rewards. I mean, I beat the biggest in the game. I beat Ted Cheeseman. I was the last person to beat him up. If you look at Bilal Fawaz on YouTube against Ted Cheeseman, you can see that I have a character. I have skills. Um, and I'm looking to achieve something substantial. And my path and my trajectory needs to be fast. I cannot just fight one fight now and then wait 3 months to fight. I need to be fighting like every month, like every 4 week, I'm always in shape. I've never not been in shape. So I need to pick up the pace. So when I fight now on the 11th of February, when I win, I'll be looking for more fights, more fights, more fights. And I don't want to be aiming for 4 rounds, or, I want to be going up the ranks quickly. So yeah, British title, maybe 4 fights, maybe two 4 rounders, and then 4 6 rounders, and then maybe 4 8 rounders, and then we go up the notch.
What weight's your debut at?
Uh, do you know who Lee Ertin is?
No, journeyman, I'm guessing, of course.
No. Lee Ertin is not a journeyman. Lee Ertin is like the promoter for MTK Global.
Oh, Lee Eaton, you mean?
Yeah, Lee. Yeah. I'm gonna tell you, you said the journeyman.
You said Lee Eaton. I said, oh.
Lee's not a journeyman. Oh my God. You gotta tell him this. You gotta let him see us. Look at me, I'm red already. He's the one that's orchestrating my fight, and he's getting me to fight, and I'm fighting somebody called Vladimir. He's a Russian, and yeah, that's the person I'm gonna fight. And I know that, I can do well. I know my capabilities. I've sparred the likes of Josh Taylor, Mikhail Kessler, big fighters, the names, and I've done well, and I still have my, focus.
I said, what weight's the fight at, Bilal?
71, 70 to 71. So I think that's light middle. 70 to 71 kilos. So I think that's light middle, right? Because 69 is Walter.
Don't do it in kilos. I'm trying to figure it out in pounds. And just the last question whilst I looked that up. When did MTK come into your life? At what point?
They came in about a month after I got my papers. I messaged them. I messaged a lot of people, and I said, "Would you like to, sign me up and this and that?" And no one replied. MTK decided to give me a chance. MTK Global gave me a chance. I'm a refugee, and they got me. They've seen what I've done in the amateurs. I represent Great Britain, England, and I've done over so many fights. I'm a multi-gold medalist. So they signed Everlasting Sport Director sponsoring me. So I'm delighted to be a part of MTK, and I've been on news and I've spoke highly of them, and I think I'm gonna make them proud. And they are giving me the opportunity. Now is my time to deliver. They say you can lead a horse to the water, but you can't force it to drink. So they have led me to the water. They've led me to the water now. Now it's my time to drink. And I don't mean drink literally, I mean fight.
I know what you're saying, and you've definitely got the best team behind you in MTK. So it's up to you
do.
now. Professional debut. Everyone tune in, Feb 11th. Listen, congratulations on finally getting there. And Bilal, I'm sure we're going to catch up with you on Fight Week. Okay, thank you very much for your time.
Appreciate that, man. Thank you very much. It means a lot. Thank you very much. Take care, brother.